And welcome back. Time for this week's Capitol Report with Pat McGuigan of CapitolBeatOK.com. All right, Pat, the election results are in. The party nominees are in place for November, so the question to many would ask, do the Democrats have a chance to gain a statewide office or two, or do Republicans have it in the bag?
It's a real good question. If you look at the lineup, runoff day aside, you look at the lineup of Democrats for statewide offices, and it's pretty good. Joe Dorman for governor, Kathy Cummings for lieutenant governor, John Cox for superintendent, Connie Johnson for U.S. Senator, and Al McCaffrey in the 5th District for the congressional seat. And when I say pretty good, I'm not endorsing any one of those individuals. I'm describing it's a credible group of human beings with experience in public policy and or just a lot of appeal and an ability to express a point of view. Going back to runoff day itself, John Cox was very impressive in racking up a almost 2-to-1 win over Frida Daskin. Connie Johnson was comfortably in the lead with 58% of the vote to get the nomination. Al McCaffrey, I always own up to my bad punditry, and Al did a very aggressive campaign, hit kind of hard at the end on Tom Guild, and beat him 54% to 46%. So these are nominees that have secured their base, all right? And then you had a lot of interesting House races. Some of them decided in the runoff. The Paula Sophia race versus Jason Dunnington getting a lot of even national attention. The problem for the Democrats, before I transition to the Republicans, is that if you look at like one of the South Side races where Shane Stone beat Mary Sosa, there were a few hundred votes in an entire legislative district. And that decided who the representative is going to be. The Republicans, on the other hand, had much higher turnout, but still kind of pathetic, about a quarter of the electorate. Now, racing through the Republicans, Steve Russell, very impressive win over Patrice Douglas. And you've now got the basis laid, after all the runoffs are over, you've got the basis laid for a very interesting general election. Russell versus McCaffrey, sort of an Army-Navy dynamic there. Langford versus Johnson, very conservative, quite progressive, two contrasting views, but again, I think serious, incredible human beings. And then on down, Hoffmeister may be vulnerable, the superintendent nominee against Cox. I'll stop there. This was an interesting runoff day.
Well, speaking of Cox, let's talk about school choice and the Democratic nominee for superintendent, John Cox, no fan of education choice, even questions the role of charter schools. Let's talk about that and the notable success of pro-education choice candidates in both parties.
Yeah, this was interesting because you've got Cox taking a position, if anything, to roll back charter schools possibly, whereas down in the ranks you had several Republican races where there was a contest between either ambivalent or hostile towards choice to supportive. The supporters won. Same in the Democratic Party, where there's now a very good cluster of party nominees and or people elected who support school choice. So you might be setting up a dynamic between the superintendent and the rank and file in the legislature. Pro-choice on education won the other day.
Okay. You can read more about these and other topics at CapitolBeatOK.com. For Pat McGuigan, I'm Alex Cameron. Have a great day.